I've been having really strange dreams lately. I'm not sure if they mean anything yet, but something about them has given me an awful feeling. Almost like there's some kind of sign about something bigger than I understand at the moment. If anyone has had any similar experiences, I'd love to hear about them. The first and most important thing to note is when I was a kid, I used to frequently have vivid nightmares. There wasn't ever any kind of overarching theme to them, so I never really made much of it other than the fact that my brain really enjoyed terrifying me in my sleep. Ultimately, I've always categorized this as a good thing because I think they've mostly helped me not be afraid of things in the real world. As I've gotten older, I've also learned to not let bad dreams linger in my mind. As macabre as it sounds, I could have a horrible dream so real after I wake up, I question if I was there and still not stress about falling asleep right after. And that's partly why this time around I'm a little bit concerned. For the first time since I was a kid, I'm afraid of what I saw for reasons that I'm still trying to figure out. The dream started off with me in a pitch-black room playing what I'm assuming was an N64 era game on a small television. I didn't know why, but I think I was nervous about something. I remember the darkness around me felt alive, or at least like a tangible that was moving around me. The light from the TV seemed to be the only place the dark refused to touch. I don't recognize the game, but I seem to be playing as a black-haired girl walking around in a forest with no apparent objective. I looked at some trees for a moment before staring up into the sky when I heard a voice. It said something along the lines of, "The most terrifying part is that you'll never win." Suddenly, I got this feeling of hopelessness, and I knew I needed to immediately leave the forest. Outside of the game, I could feel the darkness around me becoming more energetic. Black tendrils began to eat away at the light of the television, and my vision began to blur. The game's music started to blare at deafening levels. Still, I'm determined to do everything I can to steer my character out of the forest, but the ground began to warp under her feet. The force was so great it shook the screen about and effectively stopping any progress I could have made to get out. Then, almost as if the darkness had made its way into the game, a tree root resembling one of the tendrils shot up from underneath the ground and wrapped around the girl. Then everything went calm for a moment. From the bottom of the screen, something appeared with its back turned to me. It looked like a small sun with the texture of the moon. As it rose to the center of the screen, so did my dread. Quickly it spun around to reveal a wide toothy smile and small eyes that seemed to mock me while boring holes into my soul. And then, I woke up. It didn't kill me or say anything ominous. But its mere presence left me in a cold sweat, and the fear lasted for at least an hour. Despite it being almost 3 a.m, I felt the need to walk around my apartment and watch some funny YouTube videos to get my mind off of the dream. I kept trying to rationalize that the face itself wasn't scary. But the feeling it left me with was something like I'd never experienced before. Once I had finally calmed down and laid back in bed, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, so I flipped my phone and left the screen on to give me some extra light for comfort. I quickly fell asleep and landed in a dream where I was surrounded by buildings. Looking up, I saw firefighters in hazmat suits rappel down from the sky. They pushed past me and began rushing into the buildings. Confused, I tried to follow them in, but I was swiftly knocked back by a wall of flame. I looked around again to see all of the buildings were on fire, and there was the undeniable smell of human flesh. My eyes scanned the area for a way out when I caught a glimpse of the moon and saw that wicked face smiling down on me, and suddenly I was shocked back awake. I didn't sleep again that night. I was banking on the memory of that face fading, but I could see it crystal clear in my head. I told people about the dream, and many of them told me not to worry about it, but I don't know. I did, and I am. No matter how I tried to rationalize things, deep down, I knew my fear was justified. As I went about my day, I had this strange compulsion to recreate what I saw. I'm not proud to say that I did this. I'm not entirely sure why, but I managed to digitally recreate the face as a 2D image, and I was looking for ways to turn it into a 3D model. It was weird. It was almost like I had an obsession with making sure that this thing made it into the real world and that other person could look at it. This analogy seems pretty appropriate given the time, but that's how a virus spreads, right? Take over the host and then make the host spread you around to repeat the process. But if it's some kind of a virus, then what's the source? I don't remember seeing that face anywhere before I dreamt of it. I think the one conversation in particular that stuck out to me after I made the image was that one of my friends recognized the face. She couldn't pinpoint from where, but she swore she had seen it staring down at her as she tried to sleep one night. It's one of the few leads I have on this thing, so maybe it's worth investigating? I'm not sure really that I should try and get any more involved than I am right now, but I have so many questions. If it really isn't just me, then where the hell is this coming from? As you're reading this, I can imagine that many of you don't see the urgency that I seem to be addressing this situation with.